All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. So I did switch my mic out. So let me know if the mic sounds good. I'll get some audio up here. But I did switch my mic out. Sounds good. I'll get some audio up here. Mic sounds pretty good to me, but let me know. Yeah, so a lot of stuff's going on this morning. We had some earnings drop. Microsoft is reportedly in advanced talk to land a deal that could give it ongoing access to critical open AI technology, according to Bloomberg. We did have some news that came out, like we had Spotify earnings. I think they missed. Let me check. We had Corning Incorporated 54-cent EPS versus 57-cent revenue of 3.86. We had Union Pacific, Novo, PayPal posted earnings. They posted 140 versus 130, revenue of 829 versus 811. Here's PayPal. Yeah, Nvidia up to almost 180. You can see it on the over here, right there. Nvidia up to almost 180. PayPal down a little bit on their earnings, though. They're down. They went all the way up to 80.65s. They beat EPS and beat revenue, but you know, they can be fickle. JetBlue Airways says they had EPS numbers. All right, so Chinese industry minister met with delegation of U.S. firms today. As they touted previously, Apple was among the firms in the meeting, according to ministry statement. In other earnings this morning, we had Johnson and I'm sorry, hold on. We had SoFi earlier this morning. SoFi beat EPS, beat revenue. United Health missed EPS, beat revenue. PayPal beat EPS, beat revenue. Spotify missed EPS, missed revenue. The Spotify with a big miss, and you can kind of see Spotify down, PayPal down. Spotify is starting to rebound back up, but it did miss its EPS revenue and revenue expectations. So Spotify missed EPS, missed revenue. Let me know what the volume is. So again, I plugged in my new mic and I kind of set it up a little bit. Look at the NASDAQ dip here. Treasury Secretary Bessent says China talks are breaking for lunch. Will reconvene this afternoon. Yeah, SoFi beat EPS, beat revenue. If you take a look at SoFi here, SoFi is gapping up really nicely. It's at 2230s. I might buy this dip. We're right at the 200 exponential, so I can take some size. And this is a challenge account, so we don't have to worry too much. We'll take 10. There we go. I can always add some more to this if I really want to. But we're at that 200 exponential. I just want to see if we bounce. We do have Tesla falling down a little bit after opening up green on the day. Tesla at 325s. Basically flat on the day. Trying to get out there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, so we're going to cut it here. No, we didn't get filled. Tapped it. Ah. I have to play with this a little bit more. Don't get filled. Here we go. All right, we got filled. I think I'm just gonna let the rest ride. And drag that down there to get filled again. And then we'll add a little bit more on a pullback, I think. But yeah, Bessent left for lunch. Said talks will reconvene this afternoon. Microsoft reportedly advanced talks to land a deal that could give it ongoing access to critical open AI technology. If we take a look at Microsoft here, Microsoft at 514s. Do you know why some trading platforms make stocks hard to borrow? Yes. So people that, okay, I'll explain to you what that means and like why it's a thing. Okay. So what shorting is doing, when you're shorting something, what you're actually doing is you are borrowing shares from long-term investors. Okay. And the more long-term investors there are regarding a specific security, the more shorts that are going to be available, the easier it's going to be to short it, right? So that's why you have some symbols that are ETB, easy to borrow, or HTB, hard to borrow, or NTB, none to borrow. It has to do with how many long-term investors, or how many people are sitting on positions long-term that are willing to loan those positions out, is what it means. I always bring up penny stocks as my example, because all shorting is like, if you got a bag of sugar and it costs 50 cents, or you got a bag of sugar, it costs $1. You go to your neighbor, you say, hey, can I borrow a bag of sugar? And your neighbor gives you a bag of sugar. Again, it costs $1. And you immediately sell that bag of sugar, put the $1 in your pocket, wait for the bag of sugar to drop to 50 cents, buy it back, and then return it, and you profit the 50-cent difference. That's what shorting is. And the person, your neighbor, is long-term investors in that situation. But if you go to like penny stocks as an example, there's a lot of penny stocks that are really obviously going to fail. Really easy money to short them, but you can't really easily short them. Why not? Because they don't have any long-term investors that are dumb enough to sit on those things long-term, right? So you just kind of end up making them, you have to end up paying super high percentages because there's not that many long-term investors willing to loan the shares out, and the ones that do, they want some money for it. So it's nuanced, but that's basically what's going on. I'm gonna add a little bit to this and then hold it, maybe break even. Let me know, is the new mic solid? Let me know. Why did my entry just jump up here after I sold? Guess I could add some more to this. Yeah, but a lot of earnings this morning. We take a look at the earnings here. Spotify slides Q2 earnings and revenue missed. They're down pretty big. Apple is going to shutter a retail store in China for the first time ever. DoorDash hires Spotify advertising head of chief revenue officer. Phillips is up after lifting margin outlook on softer stocks. So we're slightly green on this position that we're in, but it's kind of going back and forth. Let me drink some coffee. But yeah, is the new mic good? It should be pretty solid, I think. I did some sound checks. I don't need to turn the volume up a little bit. I put like a compressor and some other stuff on here, so we should be pretty solid. Like the sound should be pretty crisp. All right, so again, we're gonna try to cut some of this here if we can. Microsoft at 514. Microsoft up a little bit today, opened up Closed yesterday at around 5/12. So there we go. We got filled. And this is a big day. We have the Jolts job opening report. Perfect sound. Okay, cool. Yeah, we got the Jolts job opening report today. That should be interesting at 10 a.m. Eastern. Do a poll. We're gonna do a poll. When does the Fed cut rates? This month. Wednesday, September. And then I think the option is, we take a look at the odds for rate cuts, right? It's still pretty improbable we're going to be cutting rates anytime soon. Maybe September, so 6 weeks from now. But that's it. That's the only real look here. 2% chance we cut tomorrow. Unlikely. September, October, December. So you can vote on that poll right now, but yeah, September is looking more probable than anything at 63% for just 25 basis point, and then so about 65% likely that we cut in September. Which one, Pawn? Oh, yeah. I saw that. All good. All right, so we're starting to break down a little bit here. I have 4 contracts left. But I might just add to this. This is a challenge account, so we're just kind of horsing around with this. I do want to give it a chance to run, yeah. Should have added to it, but it's all right. The range is still pretty small on the day, guys. If we take a look at bond yields, here's bond yields, 4.39% this morning. So they are under 4.4%, which is good. You take a look at kind of this deeper trend here. We're up a little bit on the day, but not much. And yeah, we're down a little bit over the last few hours, which is good. Again, we got a lot of stuff coming out today and tomorrow. Earnings today. Boeing earnings drop. Supposed to be at 7:30, so right now we'll see if Boeing just dropped earnings. They posted negative 124 EPS versus negative 152 expected. Revenue of 22.75 versus 22.17. So Boeing just beat EPS and revenue here. Boeing beat EPS, beat revenue. I'll put these numbers up in chat. They beat EPS and revenue. 50% of people think we cut in September. 14% of people think we cut Wednesday. I just don't think that's happening. But yeah, bond yield's interesting here. But Boeing came out, beat EPS, beat revenue. So other morning earnings today included UNH, SoFi. We had some big hitters in, this morning for earnings. PayPal, Spotify missed. UPS, Merck, RCL, PG. American Tower, which is actually a big company. All right, so my position's kind of turning against me. I think I'm just gonna sit in this though. Polaris. Anything else? Not really. Might add some more to this. What do you guys think? Take up to 15 here. So we get a pop. We'll cut it quick. We're already green on the day, so we got a cushion. Let's see if we bounce here. Yell at me if it starts to bounce. What I want. I just want it to bounce a little bit. All right, so we're basically flat in this position. Hey, what's up, Sam? What's up, Manny? Run up those likes. Hey, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much. I think Boeing is not. With all the earnings this week, what's I do for? I like Earnings Whisper or earningswhispers.com. Earningswhispers.com. PayPal, yeah, PayPal is down a lot on their earnings report, though, if we take a look at it. It kind of bounced it back, though, so that's good. I add one more. But yeah, the new settings on this mic should be much better than the last one. I kind of finally got it set up. I should have gotten it set up a long time ago. But yeah, we got the Jolts job opening report today. I'm not going to add any more to this. I'm just going to cut it if it turns against me. I'll let it test the 200 exponential though, and we got a support level at like 585, but I don't think I'm going to let it get that far. Look at Tesla. All right, we're going to start cutting this, and I'll get out there. We're down a little bit on the day, but again, we had a cushion prior to that, so we'll be all right. It's a challenge account. We can take some risk with it. But yeah, today, guys, we got the Jolts job report today. Yeah, we got a whole, like, we got a lot of big earnings. And, oh, did you guys see, let me make sure I can tell you guys this. But since I'm sponsored by Top Step, they kind of, yeah, so they updated this, guys. So Top Step now, instead of needing 5 $200 winning days, all you need is 5 $150 winning days. So you still need 5 winning days to qualify for a payout, but it's only $150 winning days now. They reduced the necessary, you know, they reduced the necessary, yeah, they reduced it. They reduced the necessary qualification for a winning day. It's now only $150. So previously you needed 5 $200 winning days to take a payout. Now you need 5 $150 days, which is good, look at Tesla come down here. So Tesla rejecting all of a sudden. Nvidia's starting to fall as well here, but that's what's driving this NASDAQ move down. Again, Spotify, one of the big tech names this morning. Boeing, one of the big tech names. Boeing actually reacting really positively. Again, it did beat EPS, beat revenue. Conflicted about Jolts. Yeah, it's all good. Look at Tesla come down. We got a pretty big breakdown here. It is earnings season, and so just to put it into perspective, today we got the Jolts report, tomorrow we got the Fed meeting, GDP data, and more. So tomorrow is going to be a very busy day, very busy day. Today we got the Case-Shiller house price index at 9 a.m. We got the good trades balance at 8:30. So see what that looks like, but we do have the good trades balance at 8:30 for June. It's expected at 98.3 billion. We got house price index for Case-Shiller at 9 o'clock. It's expected at 2.9% for the Case-Shiller. We got CB consumer confidence for July expected at 95.9 at 10 o'clock today. The Jolts job report expected at 7.5 million at 10 o'clock as well. So a lot of stuff coming out. Big turn to the red side here though, and a lot of stuff. I know Apple has been not really moving much. Meta. Look at this fall down here. Let's see if we can find some breaking news to justify this. Again, Boeing earnings going well, reacting positively. I do see some news from Merck. It says Merck says company will not resume Gardasil shipments to China through at least the end of the year. Gardasil channel inventories in China remain elevated and demand continues to be soft. Japan will be a more significant headwind to growth for Gardasil in the second half of the year, end quote. Yeah, so Tesla. This is Tesla falling down here. Let's see if there's some breaking news for Tesla, because Tesla is really the one. Tesla and Nvidia are the ones falling quickly here, dragging the NASDAQ and everything down with us. Tesla price target was raised by RBC Capital to 325 from 319. Maintaining outperform despite a promising robotaxi launch. Regulatory challenges and high used EV inventory could pressure the auto business in the coming quarters, a lot of people think. That's probably one of the reasons Tesla is dropping. Also, the House panel sends an inquiry to Meta and Amazon over links to China. It's coming out as well. A couple of breaking news releases here. Weak demand for autos, potentially for Tesla. Novo Nordisk is dropping after cutting fiscal year guidance. PayPal dropping after reporting earnings. Procter & Gamble is adjusted EPS 148 or 143, 20.9 versus 20.82. Alright, so we are rebounding a little bit. You see Tesla bouncing back some. Costco Shipping says it plans to commission building of 6 carriers for a total of 3.2 billion in China. Yeah, I don't know. They sent it to me yesterday about the news for Top Step. All right, looking at our poll numbers, we asked people when we're going to cut rates. 47% say September. Tesla's been tanking. It did reject at 585, so Where's the all-time highs in the NASDAQ, though? Okay, so all-time highs in the NASDAQ hit yesterday. Or was this early this morning? This was early this morning. We broke all-time highs again early this morning in the NASDAQ. Now we're kind of pulling back a little bit into it. So new all-time highs are up here. Right around 610, 611 on the NQ is the new all-time high. I have to draw some levels here. I don't know what to watch. I mean, we can watch 580s, 575, I think makes sense. Here, yeah. Get the 200 exponential right there. Watch some other stuff. 600, I think is big right here, 6. Then we got the high up there. So yeah, I think these 4 levels make sense to watch right around where we're at now. Let's see if we continue to move. All right, guys. So yeah, what's up, Sam? Hey, good luck, dude. I try to short this back down to 585s if we get it. Here we go. Look at that. Oh, feel me there. Come on now. I'll cut some of it there, but frustrated. Short idea worked. The range is just so small, I might have to start taking larger size. Got exactly what we wanted, but now we're kind of popping back. We're cut it right there. We got the move right down to 585. Very small short, but it worked. Tomorrow we have no inflation report. We have, instead tomorrow we have GDP data for both Europe, Mexico, and the US, as well as the Bank of Canada rate decision and pending home sales, and then the FOMC meeting at 2 p.m. So tomorrow we got a whole bunch of stuff. We've got, yeah. Tomorrow we got GDP, non-farm employment, and more. So PCE data will be Thursday, followed by Friday, non-farm payrolls and unemployment. So inflation data is going to be Thursday. Yeah, the Fed cut rates a full percentage point last year. At the end of last year, they cut rates a full percentage point. So we're still kind of heading up. We're right at that 200 EMA. Last time the Fed cut rates was December. Yeah, I mean, this drop in Tesla was quick, is what happened. This is a fast drop for Tesla. You know, like it dropped very quickly. Hey, what's up, Naps? I only trust GDT trade balance and ADP data these days. Hey, what's up, Graph? Alright, see, we are back up over the 200 exponential here. Looks like me using this as a reward target made sense. Yeah, NASDAQ, the range is small, believe it or not. Like, the range is not big for the NQ at all. No. All right, we're looking at 600s. So, and again, if we get close to these all-time highs, we might be interested in buying it. But we got to let it move first a little bit. So HSBC is considering selling its retail bank in Australia as part of the global move to streamline operations. And again, we did a poll. 44% of people think we cut in September, which is probably the right answer. 24% think we cut Wednesday, which is not the right answer in my opinion. I don't think there's much of a chance we cut Wednesday. No, we don't have an FOMC meeting today. We have a FOMC meeting tomorrow. We did have some Novo news come out. Novo Nordisk appointed Maziar Mike as president and CEO. Novo appointed a new CEO. If we take a look at it, Novo. Okay, what is Novo? Yeah, I don't know what this one's doing. I'm looking at HIMS. HIMS is down a little bit today. NASDAQ sitting at 591s. Might buy this up again. We'll add down to the 200 exponential and then try to take profit on a bounce at the 200 exponential. There we go. Dude, I've been having this weird thing, like the underside of my eyelid has been twitching for weeks now. Very weird. Again, yields are actually down a little bit today, showing a lower interest rate sentiment. It's even more probable we cut in September, but a lot of it's going to depend on what kind of economic reports we got coming out over the next few days, because we got a lot of stuff coming out over the next few days. We got GDP tomorrow, we got PCE Thursday, we got payrolls Friday, we got the Fed meeting Wednesday. A lot of this stuff is going to influence what happens with rates in September. You know, we skip August, so we don't have a meeting in August. It's just September. So we'll see, but yeah, I'm gonna start cutting this position just because we get some red pressure. We lost like 50 bucks here, so it's actually pretty small. We'll switch it out and give it a chance and play at one of our actual funded accounts. But I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna really take any easy positions in my funded accounts, that is. We might trade challenge account in the background or whatever, but that too shall pass. I've had that before. Well, I definitely didn't get enough sleep last night, but this has been going on. I've been taking magnesium every night. I'm very skeptical trading now. This is probably driven by the jobs data later on. Maybe. It's possible. Yeah, I mean, it's possible it's driven by the jobs data. But it's weird. It's just weird. My wife thought it was magnesium too. She gave me some last few days, but it's not helping. Again, markets are around all-time highs, so I think I'm optimistic or bullish here. See if the market continues higher. Bro, the Coldplay concert, man. I bet you that girl's mad. Honestly, what I noticed, she doesn't even look like her pictures, though. You know? Like, pictures she puts on social media and then what she actually looks like on the Coldplay cam don't really match. You know? I'm not judging. I guess I kind of am. But all right, so we're starting to push up again. And again, I guess I'm bullish because we're so close to all-time highs. Like, we're so close to all-time highs. I think that's where the momentum is going to be. Yeah, like, we're so close to all-time highs. I think that's where the momentum is going to be. But you never know. Definitely a little whippy. Kind of choppy, honestly, right now. Watch at that 600 level, see if we can test that. A lot of it depends on Tesla and Nvidia, though. Nvidia's been bouncing back a lot. You know, as we get closer to the trade deadline, I am curious what's going to happen here. You know, I do want to see, like, I am curious about if we're going to get, like, any more big trade announcements. I know we got Europe done. Procter & Gamble CFO says value-seeking consumer more deliberate in terms of shopping behavior. Basically, consumers are cheap right now. Is that what you're saying? PG guy? You get Nvidia is an interesting one here. Nvidia's still heading up, though. Look at Nvidia. It looks like it's still climbing here. Or like it wants to climb. Again, this is ahead of Jolts at 10. We got good trades balance going live too. So no rate cuts ever. A lot of people don't think we're going to get any rate cuts this year. I don't know. I think it's more likely that we're going to get at least a cut. You know, and again, just to put this into perspective, the dollar is up today, right? Let me see. The dollar index, if we take a look at the Dixie, the dollar is up today. So the dollar is up today after the European Union U.S. trade deal reduced tariff uncertainty, promised major European Union purchases of U.S. energy and defense goods, and a stronger dollar, of course, can be good or bad, beneficial for inflation, but trade, but potentially headwinds for multi-corporational earnings, or for multinational earnings. No rate change is expected on Wednesday, but investors are going to be listening to what Powell says. And again, comes in a string of economic data. Today we got Jolts, we got June good trades balance and retail and wholesale inventories, we got May house price, Case-Shiller data, we got CB consumer confidence. All of this is going to feed into Q2 modeling tomorrow. You know, we got Q2 GDP tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So all of this is going to feed into that data. Discussions regarding U.S. and China trade are happening right now in Stockholm, Sweden. And so discussions are aiming to extend the May deadline and maintain the tariff truce, focusing on broader bilateral trade issues. And then in the mix of all of that stuff going on with PCE inflation data, the Fed meeting, Jolts today, non-farm payrolls and unemployment on Friday. We got jobless claims Thursday, PCE Thursday. Wednesday, we got GDP. We got good trades balance data in like 33 minutes. Aside from all that stuff, we got earnings coming out today. Spotify is probably one of the biggest misses for earnings. Spotify dropped pretty significantly. It's at 664 from 700 after missing EPS and revenue for its quarterly earnings. We also had UPS, Merck, Boeing come out beat EPS, beat revenue. PayPal beat EPS, beat revenue, but reacted negatively. Starbucks, Visa, UNH, Procter & Gamble, Booking.com, and more come out as well. And a well-received auction for treasuries paved the way for a $1 trillion issuance in Q3. Investors are staying focused on how yields may influence equity appetite. S&P futures up, NASDAQ futures up. A lot of these broke all-time highs today. I know the NASDAQ broke all-time highs. The new NASDAQ all-time high is up here right around 610, 23,610. So we're definitely watching that. We got a lot of stuff going on today as well, although we don't really have any like major earnings coming out, like Mag 7 earnings. The biggest one maybe UNH today, but we got Visa, Starbucks, Booking.com this evening, Teladoc, EA, Caesars, and more this afternoon. So we'll see what that looks like. Over 70% of S&P 500 stocks are trading above their 50-day moving average. Broad rally beyond mega caps. You know, most S&P 500 stocks are over their 50-day level. Tariff is weighing on hiring and margins, according to a lot of analysts. So companies are getting hit by new tariffs, may absorb costs, curb earnings growth, cut jobs, aligning with slower labor. Oil prices are rising a little bit. If you take a look at oil here, actually, oil prices are slightly down, but they're at $67 a barrel. So $67 a barrel. They have moved up since the last week or so here. So again, dollar strength, most likely a pause on Wednesday. Optimism around European Union US deal. Earnings mixed. Bond issuance and calm yields have defined equity capital flows over the last few days. So that's where we are now in markets, just to kind of give you like a refresher on what's going on. And again, in 30 minutes, we got the good trades balance data. So we'll see what that happens. PayPal BDPSB revenue, but reacted negatively. Still red on the day. Ultimately, originally it went up to 80.65. It's now down to 76.90s. So it's down $2-3 a share. So that's over 2 or 3%. Right around 3%, I would say, for PayPal. It's down about 3% from earnings. So yeah. And again, we got the good trades balance data going live too. So just be ready for that. Is the new mic good? I know I keep asking. I'm just trying to see how good it is. How much better is it than the previous mic? We also have the Case-Shiller House Price Index. Okay, so a lot of people saying the mic sounds better, which is good. That's good. All right, so NASDAQ's pumping up, getting very close to all-time highs. I might buy a dip if we get one here. If we can, but NASDAQ is pushing up, bouncing at that 200 exponential. All right, so we're still pushing up. I didn't really get a dip to buy. Mm. All right, so we got a little dip here. We'll see if we get a dip. I wouldn't mind a dip. 600 seems like a bounce level. Alright, so I wanted to buy the dip, we just didn't quite get one. Alright. It's still climbing here, getting close to all-time highs. It looks like we're about to test it now. Yeah, let's see what happens. Still climbing. Looks like we're almost certainly going to break all-time highs right now. I don't usually buy a dip this close, but we'll try. We're over that previous level. I'll start scaling in. I'm going to start with just 5 just so I can capitalize on it a little bit if we do break. But if we pull back, I can add deeper into it. See what happens. I like it a little bit more, but it's alright. Yeah, this is NVIDIA driven. NVIDIA's pushing up to 179.20s. Yeah, it looks like we're going to break this all-time high level again. We pushed up. We didn't quite break it yet. I'm going to scale into some larger size here. Like 2. I just gotta be ready to get out quick, because sometimes we'll test that all-time high level and break it and then immediately pull back. So I just gotta be ready to get out quick. We're gonna add a little bit more to this. We're right there though. I would assume we break it now, but you never know. Here we go. All right, we're cutting it as we always do. What? What the heck am I doing? Messing something up. Got a flat on the rest. We did just make a bunch of money though, but all right, we're gonna cut it right there. Yeah, we just made a bunch attacking this all-time high. NASDAQ just broke all-time highs. Again, I've said it once, I'll say it again. The closer we get to that range, the more likely it is that we're gonna test all-time highs, right? So milestone levels is what we attack. It makes sense. Very predictable. I don't usually buy those like all-time high levels either, but whenever we get that close, a test of that all-time high, at least a tap of it, is very probable. Now I don't know what we're gonna do now. Now it's kind of no man's land. We might run up, we might contract all the way back down to 605s. Either one of them is very possible, but you know, pretty predictable. Again, this is NVIDIA driven. NVIDIA is at 179.30s. Tesla's still coming back down a little bit. FOMC meeting is at the decision's at 2 o'clock. The press conference is at 2:30. All right, so we got a little dip here. Tesla falling down to 324.50, so you can see that here. Again, we did have Boeing give back all the gains it had from earnings. United Health says company has made pricing and operational mistakes, and others as well, according to a conference call. PayPal says most merchants and consumers are behaving consistently with recent quarters. Johnson & Johnson files with FDA about a biodrug. Ecolab posted earnings. They showed up at 189. They expected 189 and 403 versus 402. Started to dip down a little bit. We'll see what happens. But we just broke all-time highs on the NASDAQ. Well, SoFi had earnings, and if you take a look at SoFi, SoFi's reacting one of the best today from their earnings report. We are getting a dip here. On this dip, I might just buy this up. Let's try. Remember, we said 605. Here's 605. Just to put this in perspective, remember, we might bounce at 605. We said, yeah, that's 605 level right here. Move up, retest. Wild market though. What's up, Guts? Remember, we got the good trades balance data in 20 minutes. The range is honestly pretty small for us to be around NASDAQ all-time highs. It really is. The range is pretty small. We're not really doing much. Like I'll scale in here, but we're pretty much flat on this position, even with it being a pretty large position. Video's starting to creep back up. Again, the good trades balance data, we'll put this up on the screen so you can see what it's expected at. So good trades balance data is expected at negative 98.3 billion. Yeah, subscribe to chat if you haven't yet. We appreciate it. And we got Jolts later on this morning. Yeah, I'm gonna start cutting this. We took a swing with it, but it might pop right back up. But we had a couple, like a few really nice green trades prior to that, so it's kind of 2 steps forward, 1 back, 2 steps forward. Nothing is ever never. Somebody said you didn't have never as an option. Nothing's ever definitive in the finance market, in the finance world, in the stock market. You know, like if I say, hey, we might go up, we might go down. You know, variance is real. It's like poker. I love poker. Variance is real. Yeah. Oh yeah, you couldn't see that last one. Sorry. Here, I'll put it up. Sorry, my bad. Still might buy this dip though. I'm gonna take one. See what happens. Maybe add a little bit to this. I'd like to add a little bit more to it, but I don't really get it. Tesla and Nvidia bouncing back a little bit here. Kind of whippy though right now. I mean, the range is still very small, guys. It's just still very small. Oh, could you guys not see that high of the day trade I took? Oh well. Wanted to take a little bit more. We're gonna add 4 to this. We did a little bit larger size. It's just too small. And we're coming down a little bit. I'll cut this quickly if I need to. I wanted to give it a chance to run up to the all-time high levels, but like we cut it, but it's pretty flat. We just cut half the size there. We'll see if we bounce now. We did bounce right there at 600. I want to give it a chance to bounce at 6 too, but I don't think the bounce is going to be big enough to capitalize on like that. Insight CEO says the company has several important product launches planned for now between now and 2030. All right, guys, we got the good trades balance at 15 minutes exactly. I'll put a timer up. This isn't the biggest report. I think Jolts is going to be a little bit bigger. But we'll see. Anything can move the market at any time. Depends on how polarized the numbers are. All right, there we go. Okay, so here's the timer. The good trades balance data. Well, it's a good thing I reduced my size because now it's basically a pretty small trade, but a lot of this is driven by Nvidia. Look at Nvidia come back down. And we're so choppy for Nvidia. Like, look at the range here. Like, we've been moving up, testing these big high levels, but that's the range for Nvidia. It's just not looking solid. I'm a good salesman. Yeah, the Top Step news, Sam, is that they reduced the requirement for what's considered a winning day. And so previously you had to make 5 $200 winning days. They didn't have to be consecutive, right? You just need to make 5 $200 winning days. Now you need to make 5 $150 winning days. So they've reduced that requirement by 25%, basically, making it easier to take payouts on Top Step. And again, if you want to check out Top Step, great way to help support the channel. No PDT in futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, currencies. Patterns are very similar to stocks. No PDT rule. Great way to get started. Most day traders are going to lose regardless of where they go. Frankly, it's a lot cheaper to lose here than it is to fund your own account tens of thousands of dollars and lose that. And I just think that just makes sense. And so anybody wants to check it out, I'll put the link up. They're an affiliate or sponsor of mine. They pay me money, so I'm biased. Genuinely good for traders, though. Genuinely good for traders. But understand all the stuff on the screen. I can't guarantee a thing. Don't copy me. Not an investment professional. I might have no idea what I'm talking about. Might be wildly wrong about anything I say. Do not sue me. No idea what I'm talking about. Might be wildly wrong. Sorry. I'll put the link up. Let me get this out of the way. Yeah, so we've been kind of taking profit in yeah, I'll put this up. Yeah, all good. Yeah, no, it's a great adjustment. I think the right decision. What did you guys think of the new Happy Gilmore movie? As somebody that grew up with the original Happy Gilmore, I loved it. All right, so we did have Chinese trade delegations returning to the venue to talk with the United States. That news just came out. All right, look at Tesla and Nvidia come down here. So Tesla just testing this low level here. Let me see where this is at. Yeah, low of the day. Tesla just broke the low of the day here. Yeah, Tesla just cracked lows. Got a 324s. Nvidia's turning down here too, though. Yeah, I loved the new one. I genuinely liked it. All right, guys, we got 10 minutes. Yeah, the characters, like, okay. I'm gonna preface it with I love the movie, but I agree with Pawn. They went a little bit too heavy with the maxi people, right? Like they made it too ridiculous. You know, like the first one was funny because while it was ridiculous, it wasn't too crazy. You know, like, yeah, it was crazy, but it wasn't too crazy. The maxi people, they just went a little overboard with it. The good trades balance data drops at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, we got the good trades balance data dropping at 8:30 Eastern. Yeah. Eminem was in there. Yeah. What does OD mean? Is that new slang? I don't get it. Am I too old to understand what OD means? Yeah, I mean, NASDAQ broke all-time highs. Tesla's breaking lows. We can take a look at the SPY here. SPY climbing this morning. A lot of stuff's starting to turn the other way. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Is that new slang? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not cool enough to understand. Only 2 potential issuers are expected to sell U.S. investment-grade debt today, according to Bloomberg. Old slang? Oh. Oh, okay. Again, I'm just not cool enough to understand that reference, guys. I kind of understood it originally, but I was just making sure it didn't mean something else. I know what OD means. I just didn't know. Yeah. I would just say that's too much. It was too much. But it's all good. Yeah, no, I agree with you, to be honest. Yeah, I agree with you. I think they forced, it was too ridiculous, you know. All right, so we're back at the 200 exponential. I'm not really confident to take either direction here, in all honesty. I think we're kind of too much. We're a little bit too much. There's too much variance in either direction. Tesla's breaking lows. NASDAQ just broke all-time highs about 10 minutes ago. We got the goods trades balance data in about 7 minutes or so. And so I think we just got too much potential influencing market things. All right, guys. Bouncing at the 200 exponential again. It's giving boomer. Yeah, listen, I don't do the whole it's giving thing. I just can't really. I can't really seriously say that without feeling like a freaking idiot. Okay? So I can't say it's giving profitable trader vibes. I just can't freaking do it, man. I'm just not that guy. I'm too old. I'm in my 30s here. I don't want to say that. You know? I don't think I could ever see, like, genuinely, seriously, non-ironically say that. Ever. No. Yeah, it's all good. Palantir might finally drop below 150 today or tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, Palantir is wild right now. We got less than 4 minutes here. Palantir on 158.30s. The Palantir's trying. It's slowly heading up. It's at 158s. Palantir's close to all-time highs. I'm not shorting it right here. I'm not shorting it anyway, but yeah, I did see there's a proposed change to PDT. I did see there's a proposed change. We'll see what happens. But obviously, I'm for it. I've been criticizing the pattern day trading rule for freaking years. It's time to change it, you know. It's a ridiculous, contradictory, hypocritical rule. You know, telling people, hey guys, you can only trade if you have 30,000, if you have 25 grand to do it. That's like me saying, hey, 16-year-old driver, you can only drive if you do it in a Rolls Royce. The dumbest idea ever. What's going to happen? They're going to wreck that Rolls Royce, just like they're going to destroy their $25,000 account, and they're in much worse trouble than if you just let them day trade with $2,000. You know, a completely ridiculous rule. Makes no sense. Absolutely ridiculous. And really, it's just meant to let banks sit on your money a little bit longer and earn more interest. That's what it's really designed for. They'll never admit it, but that's absolutely what it's originally designed for. So, I mean, I'm for getting rid of it. You know? All right, guys, we got 3 minutes. 3 minutes. NASDAQ right at that 200 exponential. Again, I'm not trading it all right now. Tesla has been cracking lows. It's now technically red on the day. Tesla technically red on the day. Bitcoin did push up. It's around 120,000 in at least Bitcoin futures. Yeah, I know. Listen, y'all are preaching to the choir here. I'm absolutely against the PDT rule. Like, okay, you have to understand day trading. All right, guys, we got less than 3 minutes. We got about 2 minutes left. But day trading, there's so much variance. Like, limiting somebody to 3 day trades a week, you need a big sample size to see if you're profitable. Like, there's so much variance in just 3 trades a week, day trades. It's a ridiculous rule. People are like, oh, it helped me. No, they just told you it helped you and you kind of believed it. The reality of it is you're forcing a lot of people that shouldn't be trading with 25 grand to have to trade with 25 grand. It's dumb. Good thing we got prop firms like Top Step, but outside of that, it's dumb. All right, guys, we got a minute and a half left. I mean, you can make good money with 3 trades a week, but there's so much variance that comes with it. You need a large sample size to figure out where your edge is in day trading, and it ain't 3 day trades a week. That's for sure. We got a minute and 15 seconds though, guys. Again, the expected number, you can see it on the bottom of the screen. Expected number for good trades balance is at negative 98.3 billion. I don't know if this is going to move markets. We'll see. It might. We also have the Case-Shiller house price data at 9 o'clock. Jolts at 10. So we got enough data to make it interesting. 98.3 billion. We got less than a minute here. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Then your friend doesn't really understand day trading. No offense to him. 3-day trades a week. The sample size is so small. You're not going to see anything legit in terms of edge in 3-day trades a week. All right, guys, we got 25 minutes left. 25 minutes. Or 25 seconds. Sorry. Hit the live button next to the play button. 15 seconds. All right, this timer's a little bit early. We really got about 5 seconds left. All right, guys, let's see what this data shows. Expected at minus 98.3 billion, and here's the report. Negative 85.99 billion. Actually, a little bit better than expected, meaning we exported a little bit more than expected here at minus 85.99 versus negative 98.3. So at 85.99 negative versus 98.3 negative. So a little bit better, honestly, than expected. This means essentially that we exported a little bit more than expected. This is the balance between imports and exports. And obviously we import a lot more than we export because we're the US. We don't really manufacture things here. And, you know, people don't really use our manufactured goods across the world, like China, for instance. And so the good trades balance data shows the ratio between imports and exports. And obviously, if we're importing more things, that's good to a certain extent. It means we may be potentially manufacturing more things and we're building more things. But again, it showed up at negative 85.99 billion for the for this data. Negative 98.2 billion, 98.3 billion expected. So a little bit better than expected. NASDAQ is up a little bit from this too. Look, not a huge reaction to this though. Not a big reaction. All right, guys. So, yeah, I mean, I told you guys this might not move markets. I mean, it's good. You know, the data was better. We're importing. We're exporting more than we're importing. Or no, I'm sorry. We're importing way more than we're exporting. Let me clarify. We're exporting more than we thought we would be. A better way to say that. Sorry. Again, we're exporting more than we thought we would be. Also, inventories also showed up at 0.2% versus negative 0.1% expected. So that might be, yeah, that might be moving things. You trade the Dow occasionally. I like the NASDAQ. It's a little bit more volatile. Let's try buying this, I guess. Put this one up now. See if Tesla keeps creeping back up, but you never know. Kind of consolidating around the 200 exponential, so I'm hoping this gives us a little support area. The advanced retail inventories number was 0%. 0% versus previous 0.1%. Right, exactly, guy. That's basically what they're telling people. Hey, new rule. Yeah, again, I think the best analogy here is driving. New rule. You can only drive a Rolls Royce for your first car at 16. You know? They'll just make sure you're mature enough, you know, because mature people have Rolls Royces. Guys, apparently. So you can only drive a Rolls at 16. That's it. Don't have a Rolls Royce, can't drive at 16. That's basically what the PDT rule is. Hey, you got to drive a Rolls Royce. You know? A better example is a Corvette. You know, you got to drive a new Corvette at 16. That's it. That's the only thing you could drive. But the Rolls analogy reinforces it a little bit better, I think. But that's why the PDT rule is absolutely ridiculous. We're in a pretty small trade. The range is actually pretty small. I'm not going to add any more to this either. I'm pretty sure it's not a dot plot. I think the dot plot meeting was last time, Nick. Okay, we're retracing all the way back up. I like your style when I become a TPS coach because I have my own channel and stream. Honestly, to be fair, 16-year-olds are dumb drivers most of the time. 16-year-olds are just dumb. I was dumb at 16. 100% dumb. I was the top 3 dumbest 16-year-old. Because I like cars too. And so I was definitely dumb at 16. 16-year-olds want to be cool too, like too bad. Like they're so desperate to be cool that they do a lot of dumb stuff. I have a 16-year-old too. My first car was, I'm not giving you guys my first car so hackers can hack me. I'm good. I'm good. No. You're not getting my first car. My first car was a Rolls Royce. Guys, you know, it was black. You know. Robin Hood at 106. 50s. Dude, my eye is twitching. I can't stop it. Weird. Alright, everything's kind of flat right now, guys. NASDAQ's flat. We're back over the 200 exponential. This trade's even flat. It's been doing this for like a month, though. For like a month. All right, we're great on the trade. Patience worked out here, I guess. Tesla's starting to come back. Nvidia rebounding back up too, so. All right, we liquidated a little bit of that. Lowered size, took profit. Let the rest ride. I thought it might be dehydration, but I've been drinking lots of water. I trade jiu-jitsu, so I'm drinking water constantly. Top 3 most water drinker. Point is, like, every day I train, I'm drinking like gallons of water. I don't think it's stress. Yeah, I don't think it's stress. Could be, I guess. But I'm not really stressed right now. My whole family's mostly getting along. My daughter's doing good, son's doing good, I'm doing good, wife's doing good. I'm not really stressed. We got 850 people here, you know. So we're kind of flat here. All right, now we're green. All right, now we're flat again. Again, we're just moving sideways here, which is really strange. We've had a lot of markets breaking all-time highs, and then we've basically just been flat. Yeah, I'm not really worried about my trading too much. Up, Andreas. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty set, Chris, you know. All right, I might cut this. Again, we're not down much at all from it. We already took some profit on it. But I like this less, and we're a little bit too sideways for me. Once we start breaking down here, it looks a little bit weaker. I'm just wondering what's driving this, because it's not Apple, not Meta, not Microsoft, not UNH, not Boeing. What's driving this pullback here? Robinhood's breaking down a little bit. It's at 106. Yeah, the spread's tiny. There's no volatility here. Bitcoin has been moving up though. Bitcoin up to 119,965, so Bitcoin's actually doing okay. Tesla, yeah. Is it Tesla? It could be Tesla. Spotify? Oh, it could be Spotify, actually. Spotify's breaking down. There's that 585 level we got. Could buy that up instead. But, you know, what we did have a confirmation is, you know how I say I don't really attack, like, high of the day breakouts? Like, I don't attack this. You know why? Is because there's too often we move up, we break all-time highs, and then we do this. You know? I'd rather attack the range leading up to it. And, yeah, I think that makes more sense. So we got Jolts today. Today it's today's Jolts. Jolts drops today. At 10 o'clock. So the UPS CEO says it's looking at China to U.S. trade lane. Increased tariffs and elimination of de minimis exemptions resulted in a year-over-year drop in average daily volumes. Okay, good luck, Pawn. But yeah, the Jolts report is today, guys, 10 o'clock. Jolts report's live, 10 o'clock today. Yeah. Could be sleep related, I guess. Novo Nordisk calls for aggressive U.S. law enforcement action over alleged unlawful compounding of one of their drugs. I wonder if we could buy this dip here. Doubt it's caffeine related. Doubtful. Yeah, so the president said it hardest with the families of New York. Trust law enforcement to get to the bottom of it. Also, BlackRock says crypto stablecoins could strengthen the US dollar dominance. All right, so tomorrow, the White House confirms the first Bitcoin and crypto report will release tomorrow. The U.S. small package market was unfavorably impacted by U.S. consumer sentiment that was near historic lows. Yeah, that should be pretty good news. United Health sees earnings growth outlook strengthening quickly in 2027 and pacing steadily upward over the succeeding years. Still kind of interested in buying the dip in United Health. Combat at negative 1800. What's the play to bring it back? Specifically longer term. Small size, longer term. I'm not an investment professional. No idea what you should do. Don't copy me. Not an investment professional, not liable. If you lose, might make mistakes, trade off stream. You might not see it. Don't copy me. With that said out the way, I think the move is, and again, it's still pretty low probability, but the move, in my opinion, if you're, you know, only a couple $100 away from getting eliminated, is small size, longer range. You know, I think that's the only thing to do. gonna try to save it. Yeah, I mean, again, I think that's the move, but I don't know for sure. Again, it's still low probability. It's still gonna be hard to do. Weaning off minis. Yeah, I trade micros. Like, I know I could, if I'm really in trouble, I could kind of scale in with micros, which is a huge edge, a valuable thing. So I try to trade micros more than anything, but everybody's different. Yeah, I mean, the reality of it is, if you're trading with prop firms, you're gonna lose combines. Like, that's just normal. Everybody does it. You know, it's not like nobody passes every combine they take. It's not a reasonable expectation, in my opinion. You know? So just understand that it's part of the game. You're gonna lose. You know, that's normal. The FOMC meeting is tomorrow here. Sorry, let me. I forgot to add the good trades balance to the bottom screen here. So let me add that real quick. Yeah, the advanced good trades balance showed up here. Yeah, it showed up more exports than expected. Fix it, put it in the middle, but yeah. Oh, we got the Case-Shiller house price index at 9 o'clock. I forgot. Case-Shiller house price index at 9 o'clock in the morning in 8 minutes. I forgot about that. Case-Shiller house price index 9 o'clock. Of Ava. So taking a look at Apple here. That 214 is a bit kind of flat. How do you learn to read these reports from more of a professional level? Any advice? You just gotta understand what they are. AI helps. Use AI. Dig through them. Ask them questions. Ask AI to teach you about each individual report. I've been covering every one for years and years now, so I kind of understand like what each report means. but everybody's different. Case-Shiller is just house prices, like the prices of houses fluctuating is what the Case-Shiller is. So, I mean, it's kind of self-evident in the name. Case-Shiller House Price Index. It's just house prices fluctuating. 300. Looking at our poll, still 45% of people will think September is when we're cutting rates, 26%. I'm surprised over 25% of you guys think we're going to cut. Listen, who out there thinks we're really going to cut tomorrow? Let me know in chat. Show yourself. Who out there thinks we're actually going to cut tomorrow? Because I'm going to tell you, it's almost certainly not happening. All right, Lutnick says because of onshoring, firms like Sanofi now able to stay in France. Says EU did not want the U.S. taking pharma firms from U.S. Plan on pharma coming in 2 weeks. It's going to be higher. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why anybody thinks we're actually going to cut rates tomorrow. It's crazy. It's just so improbable that we're going to cut. I don't know why people even think that. I want to buy this dip. It was very small. Kind of gone back and forth this morning. Union Pacific CFO says company is pausing share repurchases and buybacks. Might add one more to this if we dip down here. But yeah, we're not gonna cut. Go on. Like I said, we might buy a little bit to this, add a little bit to it, see if we can get in and like on a scale in on a bounce. Get a big like pop back up or a flat. Let's see if we go green. Alright, red book did show up just now. They're cutting. I might keep breaking down, but we didn't lose much there. Actual, again, not worth the risk taking that. Big news for Union Pacific moving forward. If Fed would cut rates long end of bonds, would here, let me pop out this chat. All right, guys, Case-Shiller House Price Index in about 2 minutes. Pretend we did cut, how the market react. I think the market react positive. I mean, it's not going to happen, but I think the market would react positive. Yeah, I mean, I think the market wants rate cuts ultimately, but I just don't think they're going to happen. Not this meeting. If the Fed would cut rates long end of bonds, go down, spike yields, maybe. But All right, Case-Shiller House Price Index, less than a minute here, guys. We really have about 40 seconds left. Yeah, so we did buy a dip in that other account we had and made a nice little string of green trades. But still kind of sitting here waiting. We do see Apple rebounding back up, Tesla fighting its way back up. Nvidia is still under the VWAP and the 200-day exponential, but they're starting to move back up. So there's the Case-Shiller House Price Index. The House Price Index showed up at negative 0.2% month over month for the House Price Index. The Case-Shiller data showed up at 2.9% versus 3.4%. So 2.9% for the Case-Shiller House Price Index versus 3.4% expected. Again, 2.9% versus 3.4%. I'll put this data up on screen. But again, Case-Shiller House Price Index 2.9%, a little bit lower than expected for house prices, to be honest. House Price Index 2.9% versus 3.4% for the Case-Shiller. And then remember, in about an hour, we got Jolts, we got CB Consumer Confidence, we got more. Stick around. Inflation is really bad long term. So yeah, I mean, going back to the question, thinking that if we cut rates, bonds would dump and yields would spike. So the Fed cut rates aggressively while inflation's still a problem and growth isn't collapsing from political pressure. Yeah, long-term yields could spike. Investors would lose confidence in the inflation fighting. They would demand higher yields. A hold 10 to 30 years. Fearing inflation potential. It's called a policy error premium, is what that's called. All right, so the IMF World Economic Outlook raises 2025 global growth forecast to 3% from 2.8% in April, lifts 2026 next year's forecast to 3.1 from 3%. So that's optimistic. I think that might be causing this bounce here. But again, I'll put this up. IMF World Economic Outlook raised 2025 global growth forecast to 3% from 2.8 in April and lift 26 forecast at 3.1 from 3%. You can see the news there. Yeah, it's a little slow for movement, but that's okay. So India is reportedly bracing for higher U.S. tariffs and is said to be looking for a broader trade agreement, according to Reuters citing sources. You know, I might just start playing my levels a little bit easier one day. We'll see. Yeah, Case-Shiller showed up at 2.8% versus 3% expected, but lower. inflation is still actually much higher than CPI, PPI suggests in recent months. Most of the legit data scientists already got fired. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I think, you know, I do think you have to look at PCE inflation, core PCE specifically, which drops on Thursday this week. Core PCE is expected on Thursday, just to take a look at what inflation is looking like it's going to show up as. Core PCE is expected at 0.3% on the month, so it's a little bit elevated relative to last month. Last month it was 0.2%, and this is for June, right? The month before for May was 0.2%. For June, they're expecting 0.3%. Last time core PCE showed up at 2.7%. We don't really have an expectation here, but we'll see what that shows up as. Jobless claims also expected to rise week to week from 217 to 222,000. Last time they showed 217. This week they're expecting 222. So jobless claims are expected to rise. But I mean, at the same time, well, I mean, I guess they really confirm that point. And this is something I've said many times. I'm not really political, and I'm not going to pander to either political side just to grow following. I'm just not that type of person. The reality of it is the decision on whether we should cut rates is not an obvious one, regardless of what anybody says. And if you think it's obvious, let me know why. And when I say it's obvious, I mean we have lots and lots of data points suggesting a specific thing on either side. Right? I don't think it's necessarily obvious. I think you could probably argue either side fairly, unintended fairly, but I don't think it's obvious at all. I think we have some weak data for labor market. We have some strong data. Negative 0.5% GDP for quarter one. Quarter two is looking like it's going to come in at 2.4% tomorrow. Tomorrow GDP for quarter two is expected at 2.4%. That's not a weak market economy that we need to desperately cut rates. You know, if anything, it's an improvement from the previous month, not a contraction. Jobless claims have been lower than expected for most reports over the last 4 weeks. Jobless claims have been lower. Payrolls were stronger than expected. But inflation has also been somewhat stable, right? Is it great? No. Is it terrible? No. But it's stable and it's under 3%. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And so with that in mind, I don't think the decision's easy. Regardless of what a politician or Powell or anybody says, I think you could argue either one fairly. And again, I've been a big believer in balance in this regard. Like I think if we continue quantitative tightening, which is a restrictive, hawkish monetary policy, we could justify a 25 basis point cut. I think if we end quantitative tightening, we could justify another pause. Balance. That's what I believe in. And I think that makes sense to me. But again, what do I know? I'm just some dude on YouTube. But I think balance makes sense, and I think it's somewhat ambiguous in terms of what we should do now. And again, I'm not against anybody. Like, I'm very neutral politically. I really am. I think you could probably argue a cut. Is it super, super obvious? No. But I think you probably argue a cut in some here. You know? You lean to the left? I mean, I would say I'm a capitalist. I'm a big capitalist. Don't get me wrong. I don't think a socialist society has ever succeeded really in the history of the world. And I think with capitalism, at least the people that ultimately obtain power have to work for it generally, versus socialism or, farther on that side, in which the people are a lot of the time just blindly given power, and so they don't respect it as much, and they tend to there's going to be corruption regardless. But I think I'm certainly a capitalist, don't get me wrong. Now, social policies, yeah, I'm on the left a little bit, but again, I'm pretty moderate in all honesty. I just don't know if we need to cut rates right now. That doesn't make me on the right. I don't have to agree with everything a politician says. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's a silly mentality. I think if you agree with 100% of what any politician says, you're either dumb or you're desperate to fit in, and I don't care about either one of those things really. But I'm a capitalist, don't get me wrong. None of that stuff matters anyway. I just don't get wrapped up in politics. Who wants these mortgage rates? Yeah, I mean, I understand mortgage rates are high for sure. You think we needed cuts last September? I mean, I don't think it would. When we cut rates last September, I didn't think we really needed them, no. I thought we could have paused a little bit longer and combated inflation. My fear is inflation spiking again. I've said this 1,000 times. I just don't want to see inflation spike. As a self-employed individual, I don't want inflation to go up because that erodes buying power. I would much rather price stability. Even if we go into a little mini recession or depression, I'd much rather price stability. And I said this last year when the other guy was president. And so right now I'm kind of in the middle, to be honest. Like, I understand rate cuts are supposed to be proactive and we're supposed to avoid deep economic downturns. But I also think it's somewhat ambiguous right now too. Yeah, I mean, we got Jolts job report at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. In about 50 minutes, the Jolts report goes live. We'll see what that looks like. That's a jobs report. That's a big report. It's not small. Yeah, I mean, you got to understand why they cut last September, though. We cut last September because we had paused rates for over a year at that point in time. And so just to give you the nature of things, right? Like, I'll draw the graph myself. I've seen it enough. All right, so this is, let's say this is 2020 right here. Right? All the craziness happened. Economic weakness started, you know, so the Fed gets desperate. And so they bring rates to almost zero. Say this graph is rates. They bring rates to almost zero. They do a lot of economic stimulus. They print a lot of money. They send out stimulus checks. There's supply chain problems. And ultimately, they bring rates to almost zero to try to stimulate the economy, to save us from a deep economic recession or depression. And I'm not really mad at them for doing this. Some people are really mad at them for doing this. I'm not really mad at them for doing this because if they didn't do this, same people would probably be complaining on the other end of that, saying they're not doing anything. They're just watching. And so I'm okay with them doing this to a certain extent. And then they kept rates low for a while at these low levels because of all that economic stimulus, right? By 2022, inflation had spiked, got up to almost 8 or 9% for CPI inflation. Inflation had spiked. And so what does the Fed do? The Fed raises rates. They turn hawkish. They get restrictive. They're trying to push inflation down because inflation's eroding everybody's buying power at this point in time. And so then they raise rates for what, like 500 basis points, 450 basis points or something like that. And they raise rates to the high levels. This is what spiked interest rates. So if you want to know why interest rates and mortgage rates are high to this day, it's because they raised rates aggressively in 2022. And then they paused them there all the way up until September of last year, right? September of last year, but they paused rates for over a year. This was a full year period, you know, like this is a full year period that they paused rates. And then finally last year, they cut rates 100 basis points like this, you know, and then we've been pausing rates since then. So you got to understand, they're trying to combat the inflation that we got from this right here. That's what the Fed's trying to combat by raising rates here. This is to combat this right here. The economic stimulus checks, supply chain problems, and other stuff that happened from 2020. And so they started raising rates. That's what spiked interest rates. That's why interest rates are still, mortgage rates 6-7% right now, because of this here, the rate hikes that they did to combat this. I know it might get a little nuanced, but that's basically what's happening. And again, then we cut rates a full percentage point from September to December last year. We did this, but then we've been pausing since then. But it hasn't been nearly as long as we paused rates here. And so, yeah, I mean, like I said, whether we want to cut rates now is ambiguous. We're somewhere in the middle. We've seen inflation slow. We've seen CPI inflation go down, PCE inflation go down, PPI inflation go down. Most of these are under 3% at this point in time. And yes, the 2% target is the target. My target is to have $1 billion. If I have 800 million, I'm pretty happy with that, you know? And so that's the target. We'll see what happens. NASDAQ's very choppy. We'll see. We got the Jolts report, 45 minutes. Jolts job opening report. We'll see what happens. Alright, so we're moving up. 585 is the level. We have the 200 exponential at 590. We did break all-time highs on the NQ today. We did break all-time highs on the Q. Let's see if we continue. Yeah, we got Jolts live, 10 o'clock. We're very stagnant, very sideways. You guys red or green today? Let me know in chat right now. France is seeking U.S. tariff exemption for champagne and other drinks, according to Financial Times. All right, we're still testing that 585 level. See what we get, but yeah, the market opens coming soon. Reddit open mixed. Hey, nice, Lenny. Congrats, brother. We just don't want a hawkish hold. Yeah, in QT then. Like I said, I'm okay with ending QT and pausing. And maybe that's what they'll do tomorrow, is they'll end QT. I mean, we're gonna pause tomorrow most likely, but maybe they'll end quantitative tightening. You know, maybe they'll end quantitative tightening. I don't know. Let's see. All right, so with the Fed cuts, home prices typically goes up. Mortgage rates usually fall, not instantly, but somewhat after. Lower rates means lower monthly payments, so buyers can afford more houses for the same, and into the market equals demand increases because lower interest rates. Right? Depends on a lot of different stuff, though. All right, look at the NASDAQ rip back up here. So the NASDAQ's coming back up. There's a lag though. It takes time. It takes time. You can learn something here. Great channel. Thank you, DD. Appreciate it, brother. There. I try to help people. Like I don't claim to know everything. I just try to teach people basic economics and markets and like what all this stuff, what all these catalysts mean for finance, you know. Again, another easy thing to understand is like yields versus prices and bonds versus interest rates. Yields and interest rates follow each other, but prices and yields inverse each other. So like if bonds sell off, yields spike, and vice versa. If bonds go up, yields go down. And that's an important correlation. And then when you look at that, interest rates and yields follow each other. All right, so look at this big move up here. We're getting close enough to all-time highs to where I will buy this dip if we're close enough to the opening bell. Let's see if we can get it. We're getting close to all-time highs here. Close. We actually break. Apple's still creeping up though. Let's see if it drives prices higher. You know, hear the music well today? I know I got my mic set up. The music should be pretty solid though. Bro, I'm working on some algos in the background here, dude. And look, we're green. We're in this trade here. Hold on, let me show you. I'll hold the rest break even. I'm gonna cut it right there too. Take a little bit more off. Look at my algos in the background though, dude. Look at this. This is a 1 minute chart too. This is what I call the scalp king. Maybe I should come up with a better name. I need to just sit around and wait for these to happen though. Look at that. Worked. Called the top. Called the top. Called the bottom. I need to just sit around waiting for these to work. They don't happen a lot. Like you can see, we've had like, I have to go back and check to see how many show up per time frame, but I've been programming some of these. Very nice, very nice. All right, so now we're kind of going red. I've already liquidated a lot of this position. Whoa, what just happened there? Oh, that's the market on open. Here, it's all right. We're still at a green, but I forgot about the MOL. Sounds good today. Home prices come back down to reality like pre-COVID, or is that a pipe dream? I mean, generally house prices go up over time. That's why that's why people make a living off of real estate concepts like BRRRR, like buy, renovate, repeat, or buy, renovate, refinance, repeat. Right, and the reason the BRRRR system works generally, everything's generally, there's always variance, anything could happen, there's always outliers, but generally the reason it works is because house prices are going to increase over time. And so your tenants are going to pay your rent, and then your rent is going to go up over time anyway, and then the house prices that you're in are going to increase as well. So over longer periods of times, like 10, 15 years, in theory, you should make money. The only hiccup in that is if we have like a 2008-esque scenario where we go into a deep recession and that bumps house prices back down. But even if that happens, they're generally not going to stay there. Generally, you never know. Not an investment professional, but generally they're not going to stay there even if they do go back down, because home prices, the nature of them, they tend to go up over time. So my point is, we might get like recession corrections in real estate, but they're not going to stay there. But there's always a chance of anything. You know, I might be wildly wrong about anything I say. What's up, Faye? It could, but it's highly improbable. Like an example I always look up is like, if you look at a CPI inflation graph, right? And again, we got very short amount of time into the opening bell, but this is a graph I bring up a lot to kind of explain this. We got 3 minutes. Here's CPI inflation. The only time we've literally gone down in prices is 2008. In the last 20 years is 2008. You can see it right here. That's 2008 right there. And again, as I suggested, they're not going to stay there. So like we might go down for a little while if we enter like a deep recession, but they're not going to stay there. Over time, once the recession finishes, you know, it's most likely going to rebound back up. And again, you can kind of see an example of this. Here's 2020. Here's the inflation spikes that we got by 2022 here. Here's where the Fed started doing the tightening cycle, where they started getting restrictive and raising rates. This pushed inflation down, and we've kind of been slowly going down since then. All right, guys, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Microsoft spiking up a little bit. Look at that 585 level hold right here. Half a point cut tomorrow? Absolutely not, Jam. You have no idea what you're talking about. No offense to you. It's all love, but you have no idea what you're talking about. And maybe I'll eat my words, but I don't think I am. No chance we cut 50 basis points tomorrow, bro. I don't think there's any chance we cut any basis point tomorrow. I think we pause rates tomorrow. Maybe we end QT and pause for balance. But that's... Jim Cramer lost what on live TV? All right, guys, less than a minute until the opening bell. We'll see what we get. NASDAQ's pushing up, getting ready to break all-time highs, it looks like. NASDAQ's pushing up right at the opening bell, though. 40 seconds left into the open. Looks like it wants to break all-time highs. And then remember, we got the Jolts job opening report at 10. So be ready. Microsoft propping up 515s right now, dragging the NASDAQ higher. NVIDIA's still down, though. It's honestly, NVIDIA's still breaking down. Tesla's rebounding back up. Tesla went green for a split second. It's now technically red ahead of the opening bell in 10 seconds. But I think some rebounds back up now if we hold. Good luck, guys. All right, there's the bell. Apple squeezing higher at the opening bell at 214s. Tesla turning down originally at the opening bell. NVIDIA kind of stagnant, not really moving much. Apple again spiking up to almost 215s. Microsoft had a run up right before the open. Yeah, I'll put the Jolts data expectations here at the bottom. I can't really trade right now. Yeah, the Jolts job opening report is at 10 a.m. It's expected at 7.51 million. All right, look at Tesla fall down at the opening bell. NASDAQ just broke all-time highs. New all-time highs 623, 624. 623. NASDAQ just broke all-time highs. Microsoft, Apple bouncing is what's driving it. The NASDAQ pumping over all-time highs this morning. Is that bell too loud? I can turn it down. My bad, guys. Yeah, I don't know why the bell's so loud here. But open up the sound mixer, but we're good. Right, look at NVIDIA. Tesla turned down here. Spotify is still falling down. It's at 640. 640 for Spotify. Microsoft at 516s. Palantir ripping up, getting ready to brace for all-time highs. But NVIDIA and Tesla still falling down a little bit. Apple up, but now it's retracing down some too. Again, this is why I don't attack a breakout of highs. It's just too risky. Yeah, give me a follow at Beginner Trades. We post a lot of these breaking news. We need less than 25. We need about 20 followers left to break 4,000. Palantir ripping up, though. Look at Palantir here. NASDAQ getting ready to break all-time highs again. Just did. New all-time high 630s. 43,630 all-time high on the NASDAQ. Palantir just broke 160s and then retraced. This is mostly, it looks like Microsoft driving this move. Microsoft's ripping up. Google and Microsoft driving this move. Over 630 is the new all-time high. 631 now. Ahead of the FOMC tomorrow. And we got the Jolts report live today in 15 minutes. Or no, I'm sorry, in 30 minutes, basically 25, 30. I'll put a timer up again. NASDAQ still breaking all-time highs. New all-time high is almost 632 here. 632 here. Spotify dumping down, but again, this is Microsoft and Google driven. And Microsoft and Google are powering these moves. Microsoft still surging to all-time highs, almost 640s here, chat. They're still rising. Nvidia is starting to climb back up as well. Look at Palantir hit 160s. Yeah, all good hustle. No worries, man. Looking at our poll numbers, 44%. Okay, let's do a Jolts report. We got over 1,000 votes for that one. Does Jolts come in higher or lower than the 7.51 million expected? Microsoft still turning up here. This is again, this move this morning, breaking of all-time highs as the NASDAQ and S&P are doing, is driven by Google and Microsoft specifically. Google up to almost $200 a share. Microsoft up to 517s. Again, the SPY is not really breaking all-time highs. It's mostly tech-driven NASDAQ. SPY all-time highs are 640s. We're still at 638, so it's not the SPY. It's just the NASDAQ, tech-driven. Google and Microsoft rising really quickly here. I would short this, but I just don't really want to short all-time highs. I think that's a risk. You know? Microsoft's very strong, up to almost 518s now. Nvidia's starting to creep up there too. Nvidia all-time highs, chat, are 179.60s. 79.60s. So Nvidia at 178.60, about $1 away from all-time highs. NASDAQ still pushing up almost to 650 here. I wouldn't mind shorting 650, but it depends on how much Nvidia runs. Nvidia's still climbing higher. Tesla's still kind of weak at 322s, but it's up some on the day anyway. Intel coming down. Yeah, honestly, I don't dislike UNH long term. Alright, Nvidia starting to creep up. Might short this here. It's a challenge account though. We're gonna wait. We're not gonna short our real account at all-time highs. I don't think that makes it. We're just gonna play with this here. Add to it. Broken all-time highs again. I wanted to short 650 with this account. I need 2 more. And that's it. But again, shorting all-time highs, I'm not going to do it in my actual account. I just want to see if we retrace. There we go. There. Alright, got some of that. There we go. A little bit more. I got out most of this here. I'm just gonna sit in the rest. start to correct. The problem is Microsoft still looks strong. But we do have some pullbacks and some other stuff. There we go. Not really holding down here. Now we got a little more. I'm gonna add a little bit to this. There we go. Add a little bit more. Got it right there. Yeah, 650 might still hold resistance here. Big psychological level. We broke it already once, and now we're back underneath it. So, again, we do have the Jolts job opening report in 20 minutes. 20 minutes for the Jolts report. Microsoft very strong. Yeah, very strong. Yeah, again, not an investment professional, not liable if you lose. Make your own assessment. Trade smart. Can't guarantee anything. But I like UNH. I think it's cheap. I think it's been down. What's the PE ratio of UNH right now? Yeah, that 650 level did reject. It's at 11 to 12 PE, which is super low. It's 50% below the normal average PE ratio for UNH. Near the company's 10-year low, indicating deep undervaluation given the magnitude. Again, and that's why I'm saying, like, I like UNH. I can't guarantee anything. It might crash tomorrow. I have no idea. But I do like UNH at these levels. All right, we're starting to see a bounce in Palantir, Tesla, Apple, Nvidia. Yeah, just had earnings. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We cover all the breaking news in markets pretty easily. So if you want like a one-stop shop where you know we're going to cover something big, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Again, we got the Jolts job opening report going live at 10 a.m. It's expected at 7.51 million. We cover it fast. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. And honestly, guys, where did we say we might turn? This is at all-time highs, 650. It doesn't mean we're not going to move back up, but like understanding the psychological aspect of it makes sense. This is the best channel, always pragmatic, no bias or opinions, just objective data and facts. Hey, thanks so much, man. Yeah, SoFi reacting really well to the earnings. Really well. At least it was the last time I looked at it. Yeah, it's still a big hit. 25s this morning. I don't know about never distracted. Definitely top 3 most distracted, but I refocus quick. I got ADHD, you know. And so I can hyper focus on something I'm interested in, and you guys are just lucky I'm interested in finance because of noise. PayPal notification. Gotta make sure my son's not out here buying something. Robux or whatever. We're at 625s now. 625s. SPY breaking down here though. SPY just cracked lows of the open. SPY under 638s now. Intel's been breaking down after rebounding some from the bad reaction it had to earnings. Was it bad? Yeah, it was bad. SoFi pulling back a little bit. Apple breaking down. Well, we were right about that 250 level, man. I gotta just I think sometimes I need to trust my intuition a little bit more. Because, you know, I know the way I document charts works. It's not going to work every time, but I know the system I use to document charts works. I just got to have more faith in them, I think. Like George Michael, you know, or Limp Bizkit, whichever one I go with. I'd probably rather Limp Bizkit's version, but what's the symbol for Novo? Is it NVO? Ooh, Novo dumping down here. Yeah, we're at 55s. What's up, Bo? Apple's breaking down right now. That's what's cracking lows. Apple technically red on the day as well. On a day in which the NASDAQ broke all-time highs, Apple is red, Tesla's red, Nvidia's green, Novo is very red. Look how Novo is down, what, $15 a share for a $70 stock? What is that, like 25% or so? Something like that, 20-something%. Nova's down significantly right now, significantly. We got 15 minutes until the open, so we'll see what that looks like. Intel's been kind of sketchy for years, though, MC. So I haven't really liked Intel's movement for years, to be completely honest. PayPal had earnings, yeah, and it didn't really, it beat EPS and beat revenue, but it reacted negatively to earnings. You know, but PayPal is down 12-13% or so. If just by the math in my head, 12 or 13% for PayPal, but Novo's down 20-something%. 22% or something like that. So Nova's down a lot. Apple's still breaking down too. See if we bounce here. We got a string of support levels coming in now, but previous all-time highs for one. Yeah, look at that bounce here. Are Meta earnings today? I hope they're not. I don't think they are. Yeah, we don't have Meta earnings today. We got Visa, Mara, Starbucks, bookings. Meta earnings are tomorrow on Wednesday. But tomorrow we have Microsoft, Meta, Robinhood, Carvana earnings. So, bunch of earnings in the yeah, we got a bunch of earnings, but we will be live for Meta earnings, not Visa. Yeah, I'll get an MC, no worries, man. Yes, we got the Jolts job opening report going live very soon. We got CB Consumer Confidence too. So we got CB Consumer Confidence and Jolts, 10 o'clock. 11 minutes left. The non-farm employment change data. Non-farm employment Non-farm employment is a prelim payrolls report, just to put this into perspective, right? So the ADP non-farm data is preliminary jobs data. What I mean by that is it drops 2 days prior to the non-farm payroll and unemployment labor report, which is this Friday, right? So it's kind of prelim. There can be wild changes from ADP non-farm employment to non-farm payroll data. Usually non-farm payroll data has more of an influence over finance and markets. Look at this breakdown here, man. We are dumping down here. South Africa says they remain committed to negotiating a trade deal with the United States. Airbus, first half of this year and second half in Q2 results are due on tomorrow. Boeing CEO says decided to move certification of 737 MAX 7 and MAX 10 to next year. I don't see anything else that might turn the market down. I think Apple's just turning down here, to be honest. Like, this is mostly driven by, I think, Apple right now. Here's Apple. Look at Apple fall. Look at the NASDAQ turn. Oh. Palantir going red. Everything's going red, to be honest. Apple's down, SPY is down, Palantir's down, Tesla's down, Nvidia's turning, Microsoft's turning, Google's turning, technically red. So a lot of stuff just turned the other way. Now we got 9 minutes until Jolts, so just be ready for Jolts. Big rebound back up though. Let's see if we hold, but let's see if this resistance holds now. Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff that's green, don't get me wrong, but and the momentum's on the downside for sure, but hey, what's up, Sublime? Apple, Tesla, Netflix, yeah, they all just turned red all of a sudden. I'm looking up news, but I don't really see anything. European bank stocks rise to the highest level since September of 2008. PayPal shares dropped up almost 10%. All right, look at this big rebound back up though. Tesla's bouncing back, Nvidia's bouncing back. Nvidia is kind of sideways in the wake of all this stuff. A lot of stuff's basically flat. Like Google's flat on the day. Apple's certainly red. But a lot of stuff is somewhere in the middle. We went up big at the open and then we pulled back big. And again, we got the Jolts job opening report in 7 minutes here. 7 minutes. So just be ready because this is a big report. My assessment on BBAI. You might not like my assessment there, brother. Pump and dump mostly. Runs, goes up big, falls big. Doesn't ever hold the gains it puts in. But it's an AI stock, so there's a chance, to be honest, that it runs. But I'm not investing in it because it's too unpredictable and wild. Since 2022, it's gone up to 16, back down to 58 cents a share within a year. It's gone from $16 to 58 cents a share within a year. That's not a stock I want to buy. That's not a stock I want to put money in. It's got this big community of people touting it, praising it, pushing it. You know, Maybe it continues up. It's an AI stock. There's a chance, but I don't like it. President speaking? Not that I know of. Not that I see. All right, guys, we got Jolts, 10 o'clock. All right, guys, here we go. 5 minutes. All right, again, so Jolts is expected at 7.7 or 7.51 million. We also have CB consumer confidence data for July expected at 95.9. I'll put this data up on screen. Uh, 95.9. Here's a timer. All right, look at this turn down here. Again, Apple still at 212.30s. Tesla, 320 still. Looks weak here, but I'm not going to do anything until this report comes out in 4 minutes. Open Door is interesting technology, but Zillow tried and failed at it, and so I am skeptical. If Zillow, the biggest real estate company in the world, fails at doing something, I'm skeptical that a smaller company is going to be able to do it successfully. So that's kind of where I'm at with OPE. Yeah, 3 minutes, chat. 3 minutes. Again, check out Top Step if you want to help support the channel. No PDT and futures gets you around the PDT rule. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, currencies, commodities in some places. No PDT rule. You want to confirm it all with them. They're an affiliate or sponsor of mine, so I'm biased, but useful to get around the PDT rule. And most day traders lose money, so you can get started for 50 bucks. Trade. I'll put the link up. Again, they're a sponsor of mine, so I'm biased. All right, guys, we got 2.5 minutes left. 2.5 minutes left. We'll see what Jolts and CB consumer confidence bring in about 2 minutes. Well, there's talks about them doing that, Faye. It's not confirmed officially yet, but there's talks of them. All right, guys, here we go. 2 minutes. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's get ready. 2 minutes. NASDAQ trying to spike up after breaking all-time highs and then dumping down for 20 minutes straight. Hard to make money today, to be honest. But, yeah, I hope they do too. So ADP job numbers come out tomorrow at 8:15 market time. 8:15 market time tomorrow. So the ADP numbers come out tomorrow at 8:15. And again, we're going to stream it as we do. All right, guys, we got 1.5 minutes left. 1.5 minutes. And 15 seconds. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. NVIDIA pushing up, getting close to all-time highs here ahead of this report. NVIDIA pushing up close to all-time highs. We got about 1 minute left. Higher or lower, chat? Let me know. We did a poll asking people whether this would come in high or low. 57% think higher, 43% think lower. Yeah. Again, 45 seconds. About 30 seconds, chat. "25 seconds or so." Hit the live button next to the play button. You can put it in 2x speed so you don't miss a data release. Again, put it in 2x speed, hit the live button next to the play button, make sure you're fully caught up. We got about 15 seconds. Chat, 15 seconds. 10 seconds. About 5 seconds. This timer's a little bit early, but here's the report right now. Okay, guys, so the Jolts job report showed up at 7.437 million, lower than expected at 7.437 million. 7.437 million for the Jolts job opening report. 7.437 million, lower than the 7.51 million expected. 7.43 million. 7.43 million. We'll see if the NASDAQ reacts negatively. Again, 7.437 million. 7.437. Again, this is versus the 7.51 million expected, so a little bit lower. Previous one was what? 7.76 million. CB consumer confidence data also showed up at 97.2 versus 95, so a little bit stronger consumer confidence. That might be why we have this mixed reaction here. So again, CB consumer confidence 97s versus 95s. Jolts lower than expected, weaker than expected. We'll put this data up on screen so you can see it. Again, we did have a little bit weaker, starting to react negatively to this. Sometimes it takes a little while to react. Here's the data right here on the bottom of the screen. You can see it. Sometimes it takes a little while to react, but we did have stronger consumer confidence than expected. So we had 97.2 for U.S. consumer confidence data versus 95 expected. Previous was 93. So we saw stronger CB consumer confidence than expected, as well as stronger than previously. But the Jolts numbers did show a little bit weaker than expected. 7.5, 7.51 expected. We showed up at 7.43, really a 7.44 if you round. So mixed, but I would say it's slightly bearish. Slightly bearish. And look at the NASDAQ start to tumble down a little bit on this report. Market's a little bit indecisive here, you know, and this is ahead of the big reports for tomorrow. Good for rate cut odds, maybe. You know, I think we got bigger jobs reports this week with payrolls on Friday, but yeah, still relevant. You know? Market's kind of indecisive though. We're not really moving much. We're close enough to this low for me to be bearish, but Tesla's consolidating sideways. Nvidia went up there and almost tested highs. Got up to 179.30s when 179.60s was the high, but now it's since turned all the way back down. It's under the 200 exponential. It doesn't mean we're not going to bounce here though. Apple's been really weak, and we got a lot of extension potentially on the downside. And same thing with Tesla. But we're kind of in some middle unknown spot here. I don't really know what we're going to get. Could have been priced in already, sure. What do you guys think of Jolts report? You think it's good or bad? Do you guys want rate cuts or no? How's consumer confidence up? Everyone's complaining about having no money and everything being expensive. Well, yeah, but you know, it depends on how you look at it. Inflation's not really super high. Again, I've said this once, I'll say it again, just so people understand. we're still dealing with the high inflation 2022 period, where a lot of economic stimulus, QE, money printing, stimulus checks, supply chain problems caused inflation to spike by 2022. And we're still dealing with that inflation. That inflation is what we're still dealing with today. Prices don't go down, really. They sometimes do, but it's incredibly rare, doesn't last long, and once they go up, you're kind of stuck with a lot of them. And so people think inflation's bad right now. Inflation's at under 3%. We're still dealing with the inflation that we got in 2022 and 2023, which is, again, it's an argument against rate cuts, not for it. What I'm saying right now is an argument against rate cuts. Now, I think on the other end of it, though, we've had negative Q1 GDP. You know, we have some arguments for lower rates as well, but it's somewhere ambiguous. I'm okay with us cutting rates, or I'm okay with us ending quantitative tightening and pausing. But, you know, the inflation that people are still unhappy with, while I understand, a lot of that inflation is from 2022, 2023. It's time for rate cuts. It's long overdue. You might be right, world. Again, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. So I guess in that regard, world puzzle, if it's time for rate cuts, where's the weak economy? Where's the weak economy? Where's the weak labor market? You know? And again, I think there's some data prints that point to that, to be honest. So I'd be okay with the rate cut, 25 basis point cut. But I'm a big believer in balance. Want a chance to buy another home at a reasonable price? Yeah, I feel you, man. I get it. You know. Alright, so we're testing this low here. We'll see what happens. We're testing this. Remember, FOMC decision tomorrow. Crypto reacting negatively to this? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're reacting negatively to this. I think all markets. I think crypto's moving in a macro way with markets. If you look at Bitcoin, you look at the S&P or the NASDAQ, they're moving pretty similarly to each other. No, I agree, world. The intention of rate cuts is to be proactive versus reactive. I understand. And again, like I said, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. I'm just kind of causing a conversation. I think a conversation is good. Again, I think it's somewhere in the middle, but you could probably argue one. Well, inflation's always going to rise. The only way to hedge against it over time, guys, is to invest long term into something. Again, I'm going to do this real quick. But if you're mad about inflation, I'm going to preface this with, I am not an investment professional. Some of the links we post here are sponsored or affiliate links. I'm not liable if you lose money. I have no idea what the market's going to do. Don't copy me. I might have no idea what I'm talking about. With that said and out the way, if you don't like inflation, you got to invest your money, brother. You know, you can buy gold, you can buy real estate, you can buy S&P, NASDAQ, Dow indices, you can buy bonds. You can put your money in money market funds. You can put your money in CDs. You can compound it in a lot of different ways. If you do not invest, you are going to lose your money over time. And I'll put it this way. You got $50,000 saved. If you lose on average of 3% to inflation every year, you can even do 2.5%. Over a 30-year period, your $50,000 is going to turn into what? 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're going to lose over 50% of your money in 30 years. It's going to turn into about 23,000 in buying power in 30 years. Maybe more, to be honest. And that's if inflation stays at 2.5%, which is ideal, right? This is best case scenario for you. You know, you can buy real estate. Real estate prices are going to appreciate 4 to 5% a year. You can be able to ask more rent. You can produce cash flow from rental properties. You can buy gold. Gold has gone up, what, 8x, 9x, 10x since 2020. But if you do not invest into something, you are going to lose your money. Do not fall for the trap of, hey, I need to sit on cash long term. Again, not an investment professional. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Might be wildly wrong. Do not fall for that trap. It's a trap. So just be smart. Anyways, I'm gonna cut the stream. We'll be back tomorrow. FOMC. Well, there's tax advantages to investing into art, Faye. It could beat the S&P because of the tax advantages. Is essentially what it is, but I'm certainly not an art professional. I'm not a super artsy guy. I'm just not that way, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Again, check out Top Step. You want to learn to day trade, do not fund your own account tens of thousands of dollars. Most day traders lose. Instead, try Top Step. $50 a month. If you pass the test, you get a 50K funded account. 90% split. First 10K in profit after that split kicks in. If you fail, you lose $50, basically. Not the end of the world. Best of both worlds. Limited risk, similar reward to funding your own account, but noticeably less risk at $50 a month. They pay out millions and millions, fund thousands. Most day traders are going to lose regardless of where you go, so you're probably going to lose here as well. It's a lot cheaper to lose here generally. But I'm biased because I get paid by them. Generally good for traders. If you want to check it out, I'll put the link up. FOMC day tomorrow. Not only FOMC day, but we have GDP data at 8:30, non-farm employment change data at 8:15, and a whole bunch of stuff more. We got Atlanta Fed GDP today at 11:30. We've got GDP data, the Bank of Canada interest rate, pending home sales, ADP non-farm employment change, the FOMC meeting, and the accompanying press conference. And that's prior to Thursday, where we have PCE inflation data going live, along with jobless claims, Chicago PMI, and more. And then Friday, non-farm payrolls, unemployment data. So it is a busy, busy week. And this doesn't even include Meta earnings tomorrow, Microsoft earnings tomorrow, Apple, Amazon Thursday, and more. So just be ready. Very volatile week. The market could be choppy today because of the just sheer amount of catalysts that we have going on this week. So just be careful. Love you all. Remember, I might have no idea what I'm talking about. Don't copy anything. Everything I say, not an investment professional. Good luck. I'll see you guys tomorrow, bright and early. Have a good day.